Okay. I think. How are we doing? Are we live? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you get to me? I'm just going to check that we're working here. Sorry, I'm running a little bit late. I had some technical issues and. Okay, Paul can hear me and Alex can hear me. Don't have my. Just bear with me a sec because I can't hear my voice. So let me just get my monitor working here. Oh, there we go. Testing 1, 2, 2, 1. Okay, that's much better. I can hear myself now. Everybody can hear me okay? Great. Coming in loud and clear. Thank you for joining me today, guys. I can see you all piling in. That's great. Okay, so it's 4 p.m. here. Wednesday, the 4th of October, and we are going to do things a little different today because someone asked me to review their shirts, and so I'm going to do that. And then I'll take questions. So if you can hold off with your questions for now, but hopefully we've got a good hour here. We can get a good hour's worth of questions and answers in and stuff like that. So, I don't know. What should I do first? I have, let me get this set up for questions and then I'll dive right in. So, let me just do this, do that, dee. Type some text in the box. And by the time I finish this, we'll get started. I'll just give it a few seconds for everyone to pile in. And yeah, if you can hold off for questions for now, and we will get rolling. I think I'll do some reviews of this guy's shirts, who's asked for some feedback, and I think that'll be helpful for everyone. So I think we'll start with that, and then we can get into some questions, and you might have some questions around the kind of designs this guy has produced and the kind of feedback I give. So I hope everyone's doing good. I'm trying to think what I have to say that I didn't say last week. So I'm busy right now working on things with my t-shirt biz. Some of it I can't share yet. I'm hoping that I'll be able to share it in 2 weeks' time and give you some more feedback. Not feedback, but updates on what I'm doing now. But I'm trying to keep things a little hush-hush on that front. But I do have a blog post going live tomorrow, my Q3 review. So I did that. I wrote the most of that out yesterday. And September actually was good. It was not as good as August, but it wasn't that far behind. So Q3 for me is kind of, I'll go into this in the blog post so you can read it tomorrow, but it wasn't as bad as some people have been reporting, and not as bad as I expected in some ways, but it's also not been great. And I go into some detail in the blog post about why I think that is, and some of the things I'll be changing in my own business and my own approach going forwards. So that'll be tomorrow. I'll send an email out with that tomorrow. So I am getting back into the flow of regular emails and regular blog posts. So look out for that. And we've got 30 people live here, so that's great. If there are no objections, I will endeavor to review someone's t-shirts. Now this is, I believe it's Fritz, who has sent me a message and asked if I would review his stuff, and I said yes, on the proviso that you are happy with me to share that feedback publicly and display your shirts publicly with my group, and he said that was fine. So Fritz is in the group here, so I don't know if he's watching live, but we will review your shirts now, Fritz. And I think we might make this more of a regular thing, so if you do want to get your shirts reviewed or some feedback from me, the only what's the word? The only requirement is that you are happy for your designs to be shared publicly. Some of us are not, for example, me. But if you are, then I will happily review your shirts on during one of these videos, maybe in the future. So let's get into it. I have Fritz actually sent me 8 different shirts, and then someone else has sent me something, a TeePublic account to review. I think that's Sean, if I'm not mistaken. I'll just double check his name. Yeah, Sean, I think, has kindly offered his shirts for review. I don't think Sean's a member of the group as yet, so I will take a look at his TeePublic account as well. So, let's go. No more dilly-dallying around. So, here we go. This is Fritz's first shirt he sent to me, so this is obviously targeting the Halloween season that's coming up. Title of the shirt is Halloween Party T-shirt, and the brand name he's gone with is Cat Shirt Halloween. This, I'm just having a look at the bullet points. Don't leave your cat alone for Halloween, just wear it with you on your tee. A funny shirt for all cat lovers, perfect for celebrations or everyday life. And then in the description he's written, this shirt is not just for Halloween, it can also be worn well in everyday life or during sports. A great t-shirt with incorporated details, also suitable as a perfect gift. Now, the reason Fritz sent me a message, I believe, in the first place was that he was not getting many or any sales. I'll just read you his message that he sent me. So Fritz said, "Hi Michael, I have a question, hopefully you can help me. At the moment, I'm in the 10th tier and I can't make any progress. My main designs are all focused on Halloween. I have no idea if it's design or keywords. Could you have a look and give me a short hint as to what you think is wrong? Greetings from Germany." So that is Fritz's message to me. So what I will say to you, Fritz, is, and I have had a peek at these before, this isn't the first time I'm looking at them, but I'm going to go through each one by one and just give you a few pointers. So the first thing that jumps out to me on this one is, now let's talk about the design first, I guess. So the design is very perfectly pleasant. It's obviously quite detailed artwork and quite skilled artwork here. I'm not... So if we take a step back and think about the target market for a design like this, so I mean, it's kind of hard to tell what you have in your head, Fritz, because you've listed it as a Halloween party T-shirt for the title. I mean, there's nothing in the T-shirt itself that has any reference to party. Obviously, you've just gone with the date as a text thing, and then you've gone with the cat graphic. So what I'm guessing is that you're thinking that there's maybe a market out there for kind of a generic Halloween T-shirt, someone who's just looking for a Halloween design. And I'll be honest with you, I'm struggling when I look at this design and this particular listing to understand the market there that you're targeting. And I don't think you've refined it enough. I don't think you're clear. And I think that's why I'm struggling to kind of place it as well. And so here's what I think. Oops. No, get out of my way. Here's what I think. I think there's what you would probably benefit with this design. My brain's just running all over the shop. Okay, one thing I would do, I would think about is taking the text off and just using this graphic, because this graphic is very nice. You're not. I would push the size of that on the T-shirt, so I would push it out a little bit. I think you can increase the size of that graphic on the actual shirt. Obviously, you've got these kind of, I don't know if people can see this on the stream, but the dots and the marks, the kind of spittle effect. And that's fine. I would keep that, but I would just kind of maximize the shirt graphic on the shirt, because I think you can make more of that that graphic, because it's a taller graphic than it is wide. So you can probably max out. You can use the full canvas of your artwork and go get the cat's tail at the top and the cat's feet at the bottom, and you wouldn't be pushing out the sides of the T-shirt. It would still fit quite nicely. I think it's just a shame to have this nice artwork and not make more of it. So the second thing I would say is, obviously this is a cat graphic, and although you've used cat in the brand term, but you haven't used it in the title, and I think that there could be some more kind of opportunity around cat Halloween t-shirts. Now, I've not researched into it. What I would advise you do is do some searching on Amazon. You can just keep it on Amazon. You don't need any special software or anything. Just go on Amazon and just search Halloween cat t-shirt or Halloween black cat shirt or something like that, and see what's selling, see what people are buying, and see what other people are listing, and see if you can find some relevant terms or keywords that you might be able to use in this title. I would certainly, just off the top of my head, Halloween party t-shirt is not really gonna cut it. I don't think. That's far too generic, and you would need to niche down. Now, you could niche down based on the artwork, you could niche down based on the market. I think something like Halloween black cat t-shirt or something like that would be a good place to start, but I can't, having not looked into the markets and reviewed things, I can't go much further than that. But I would advise that's what you do. Now, the brand name is fine, Cat Shirt Halloween. That's probably closer to that would be a better title than it would a brand, just off the top of my head. Now, as far as bullet points go, now I don't want to obsess over bullet points, and I'm not going to, because especially off the back of the Seattle event and anyone who was there, I think I mentioned in last week's Ask Me Anything, people are placing far too much importance on bullet points, and I think people are obsessing over it. And if we talk in this video for bullet points for more than like 2 minutes, we probably have wasted breath, because it's not worth you thinking about them that much. Now, I know that's kind of, everyone's kind of like, well, I need to get the keywords in there and stuff like that, and it helps it to rank. Yes, kind of, but it's it's the 80-20 principle. Like your keywords and your bullet points, not your keywords, your title's important. I would take more time over the title, but your bullet points are like 20% to the 80% that is your market, your niche, your design, and your title, if that makes sense. So I'm not going to obsess over your bullet points, because honestly, you could take them out, and I think you'd still probably make just about as many sales as if you didn't have them there at all. All else being equal. But here's just a couple of comments on your bullet points. Don't leave your cat alone for Halloween, just wear it with your tea. So I see what you're going with there. You're trying to do a little bit of kind of, copy around the selling the shirt and the reason for the design and that kind of thing. I think you would probably be better just keeping the bullets to a description of the artwork. And I think this is kind of what Amazon is wanting from designers. They're wanting you to provide the artwork and to provide a good, solid description of that design, because they're going to describe, as obviously they do, the t-shirt. They're going to describe the makeup of the t-shirt, what it's made from, some instructions about how to look after it. And really our job is simply to use some relevant keywords and phrases and to describe what the artwork represents. So for this, just off the top of my head, I mean, you've got a skull in there, you've got some kind of I don't know what you might call it, kind of occult or magic graphics, that kind of thing. So I would kind of describe the artwork and try and think about what someone might be searching for who might buy this design, because going back again to the design, it's a nice, pleasant, skilled design. Someone might just look at the design and think, oh, that's really nice artwork, I'd like to wear that. So I would take some time to think about how you describe that artwork. Words like intricate, pattern, detail, floral, these kind of things, and spend some time kind of searching around those terms on Amazon and maybe on Google to find some similar kind of key terms. But that's kind of where I would start, and just kind of work a few of those into your bullet points. You have said a funny shirt for all cat lovers. Honestly, I don't see anything funny about this design, and that's not to disparage it in any way. I'm simply saying that there's nothing funny about this design. That doesn't make it bad, but why describe it as funny if the design isn't funny? You're just you're using an irrelevant word there. It's not helping, and it could be hurting as well, because you could be kind of landing in these funny Halloween things, and people look at your shirt and they were looking for a funny Halloween shirt, but they see your shirt and it's not funny, so they go away and they don't buy it. And over time, that could contribute to damaging of your kind of listings and your the way you show up in the search terms for Amazon. So I wouldn't include words that are not relevant. Again, you've included shirts shrink in the wash. Please order one size up for TrueFit. I would stay away from this. I think we've had indications and some explicit indications from Amazon that we shouldn't do descriptions about the garment or looking after the garment. So I would just remove that. I don't think it's going to hurt you. I know some people might be worried about the reviews off the back of that, but honestly, the reviews are not our problem in many ways. And I know it's easy to say that when you're at 8,000 tier and you're making a load of money, but I think you really need to switch our attention from how can I solve problems that Amazon should be solving versus how can I do the best thing I can do, which is the design and the data. So I would just stay away from that and just take it out, to be honest. And will you get is the possibility that you will get negative reviews from people saying this shirt shrunk in the wash, I should have ordered a size up, or the sizing is wrong? Yes, there's a possibility of that. Is it going to really make a huge difference to your earnings over the long term? No, especially when, placed across the possibility that Amazon might penalize you in future for including information like that. So a lot of what I've said there will be applicable across the rest of your designs, Fritz, so I'm not going to do that much detail on all of these. But those are some pointers about how I would improve this. One last thing when I'm just looking at it. Now, your colours are pleasant here. It's a nice design. I don't really understand why you've put 31st of October. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get why someone would want... If it's a Halloween shirt and they're looking for a shirt to wear at a Halloween party, why do I want the date on it? Why not have... If you're going to have any text, why not just have Halloween on it or something like that? Or is there some... Here's what I think. You could make more of this design. If you absolutely want to use text, then I would find some kind of phrase or text related to Halloween that is better than this. So, for example, I'm trying to think of something, some kind of creepy like phrase or come on, brain. Something that is... I'm trying to think of something, man. Let me have a look here. Halloween phrases. Trick or treat, ghosts and goblins. Pinterest might be a good place to look for something like that. It's just a bunch of hocus pocus. Hocus pocus is obviously trademark. That could be a problem. When black cats prowl and pumpkins gleam, may luck be yours on Halloween. So something like that is kind of what I have in my head. So you could just use the text "when black cats prowl." Where's your design gone here? When black cats prowl, you could have it like when black at the top and then at the bottom cats prowl in kind of like a circular shape around the design, something like that. And I think that would just be it would make more sense to me, a design like that. So you're not being, this is a bit too obvious in some ways. It's a bit too generic. And I would want to do something with the design that makes it more appealing to someone, because it kind of smacks a little bit here like you've just tried to produce a Halloween t-shirt without doing much thinking beyond that. So that's what I would do. I would try and, how can you go deeper on this design and make more of it? And that would, for me, that would involve making more of the graphic. You could, for example, obviously do a t-shirt that's just the graphic, and then you could do one that's the graphic with some more text. And you could try out some different phrases or something. When black cats prowl, or it's just a bunch of hocus pocus. I don't know, something that implies to the viewer that this is a Halloween t-shirt without it being obvious that I'm just doing a generic Halloween t-shirt, if that makes sense. Okay, let me get through a few more of these and then I'll take some questions, guys. Next one is called Halloween Zombie Shirt, and again we got the same problem here with 31st of October. I just don't think that having the date is going to be important to anyone. I don't think anyone's looking for a Halloween T-shirt that has the date of Halloween on it, if that makes sense. I think I would lose the date or replace the date or something. You've said zombie for this one, so I do have a couple of comments about the artwork on this one. Again, it's nice quality artwork. I think that you missed a trick here. So you've got this on black and navy. This is the black shirt. It kind of looks a little bit brown, but it is the black shirt. So here you've got black. You're printing, as you can see the zombie and the trees. These are in black, and you're printing black onto a black shirt, which is ridiculous. Should not be happening. What you should be doing is cutting that black out of the design and letting the black, letting the shirt be the black, if that makes sense. So what you would do is get rid of all this black area. I can't show you at the same time as doing this, but get rid of the black and allow this background, this bluey grey sky background, to be the only thing printed, and that would set the outline for the black, for the zombies and for the birds and all that kind of thing. So does that make sense? So you cut the black out, so that everything that's black on this artwork would be transparent, and then when you print it on a black shirt, you would still obviously see the outlines and all that kind of thing. So for example, if you look above the moon, you can see these kind of shapes. You've got these kind of circles and stuff. So obviously that's cut out, and that's the kind of effect we want. I just think it's going to look a lot more powerful. It's going to be bolder and crisper. Now you might want to lighten up the sky a bit in general. I notice as well there's kind of a gradient thing going on here. I'm not especially comfortable with that because I find in my experience gradients don't print as well. So if this was my design, I would get rid of the gradient, have a flat, lighter sky color, like a lighter grey, and I would try and do. I'm not sure about this moon, whether we just take the text off, or again find some kind of phrase or something that we can use instead of just 31st of October. I'm just looking at someone saying they lost the sound. Is anyone else losing the sound, or have you got me okay there, guys? Just let me know if you've lost the sound. If you can still hear me, then give me a heads up. I don't want to continue if you can't hear me. Okay, Ty says he can hear me. Anybody else? Oh, two. Okay, 2 versus 1, Jason. Sorry. Fine, and been fine for me the whole time. Okay, everyone else has got me, so I'm going to carry on. Okay, so so Halloween 31st of October is a problem. Again, similar to kind of the previous design here, if we look at the title. Halloween zombie t-shirt, again, probably a bit generic, but it's better than Halloween party t-shirt. If you can do some kind of... again, I would do some research into zombie t-shirts, zombie Halloween shirts, and see kind of what's selling and what people are looking for. But Halloween zombie t-shirt I think is going to be too generic. Again, you could describe the design in a bit more detail. You could say Living Dead, zombies plural, graveyard, creepy, Halloween scene, something like that. But I mean, the artwork is nice. I'm just not convinced and not clear on kind of what else we could do with this design besides cleaning it up as I described, and then maybe perhaps including some better kind of phrase or text. Again, you could take the text off completely and just use the design, but all those kind of things work together. So the artwork with the keywords and the words used to describe it would all have to kind of fit and make sense. So let's just have a quick look over your bullet points here. It's Halloween party time with this zombie t-shirt. You're the boss at every party. Let the horror show begin. Okay, nothing wrong with that. But again, we're keeping to two terms. We've got Halloween and we've got zombie. And I think that's a little bit too broad, and we need to try and find a way to niche down. and either make this a joke somehow, some kind of phrase or joke that we can play on Zombie or Halloween or something. But as it stands, it's just a little bit too generic for my tastes. Okay, let's look at the next one here. So, men's jack-o'-lantern pumpkin t-shirt for Halloween. Just off the top of my head, you've used t-shirts here. Okay, a few things about this one. Men's. So I'm not sure why you have this one in men's only, assuming that you do. That could be an Amazon glitch or something. But I don't, if you have done it on purpose to be a men's only t-shirt, I don't know why you would do that. You've got jack-o'-lantern in all caps. Just personally, it looks to me weird when people do that, so I wouldn't do all capitals in my designs. Some people might use it as a way to catch the buyer's attention on the page. That's fine, but personally, I think it kind of smacks of amateurishness and would be perhaps a kind of distrust signal for me as a buyer. Pumpkin t-shirt. So we've gone from capital letters to lowercase without capitalization on the t-shirts. I would always want to go for capital T dash capital S shirt, as you have on your previous versions. Oh, you've not got a capital there, but you have there. That's what I would do for t-shirt. I mean, I've played around with T and things like that in the past. I don't think it makes a huge difference. I think Amazon is probably combining all of those together behind the scenes. For Halloween, I don't know whether you've done that intentionally as an attempt to perhaps pick up people who might be searching for such and such shirt for Halloween and including the word "for" in their search. But I don't think that's going to make if that was your intention, I don't think it's going to make much impact either way. So, just some comments there on the title. Okay, let's look at the artwork on this one. Now, this is a very nice quality artwork, obviously designed by someone who knows what they're doing. And this is a vast improvement on the previous one because as I was trying to describe on this design, on here you have sucked out the black, as it were, and the shirt is doing all that work. Now we have got a gradient on the background and perhaps a bit lower down as well. I might be a bit concerned about how that's going to print. Again, I would not recommend using gradients, especially fading a gradient into the background color of the shirt. That, in my experience, doesn't work very well, and you'd be better off using halftones or something like that to do that effect. But apart from that, it's very nice artwork, and it's the kind of thing I think you could see Amazon perhaps promoting in a Halloween collection or something for generic jack-o'-lantern t-shirts and that kind of thing. I would certainly whack the image scale up a little bit. I think you can push the size of that image a bit, just because it looks a little small on the shirt for me as it stands. But now in terms of keywords, obviously it is jack-o'-lantern, pumpkin. You've got those both in the title, so that's fine. There's not much. So like if you were saying I want to do a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin Halloween shirt, you've done it. You've nailed it. You know, the design's great. The title's perfect. The problem, I think, with this is that that's going to be a very busy market to try and make organic sales in. So if you had some money you could spend on advertising to try and get this up, then you might find that it sells well because it's a nice design. But I think, again, without kind of niching down any further, we're in a very busy vertical there, and it's going to be hard to make organic sales just based on that. But if that is the vertical you're going for, then you've included the terms that I think you should include in your title. You've used jack-o'-lantern, you've used pumpkin. I'm not sure there's much more besides that. You could do some searching again on Amazon to see if there's some other keywords you can throw in there. But it seems like you've done a good job of describing that. And I can see you've used pumpkin, goblins, ghosts, and ghouls. Again, is that going to be helping? Probably not significantly, but it's neither here nor there, probably. So nice design on that one. Another jack-o'-lantern one. So again, just looking at the title T-shirt, you've gone with T-shirt, all one word. You might be, as you're on the 10th tier, I believe, Fritz. What I expect you're doing here is you might be testing out different, because you've done T-shirt here, you've done T-shirt here, you've done T-shirt lowercase there, you've done T-shirt all caps there. So maybe you're testing out and trying to see which one kind of works best. But I would just stick with T-shirt. I think it just looks more professional. And again, you've got capitals here, which I wouldn't bother about personally. I would just switch to capitalize this text only. Nice enough design again. Personally, don't think it's as nice as that one, but actually this one, just looking at the comparison between that and that, you just notice the difference in the brightness and the contrast. I would be tempted to blow this out a little bit and maybe increase the contrast, the brightness, maybe change it from orange to a brighter yellow, just to make it stand out that extra bit more, because this one really pops, and this one, although it's nice, I actually think when this is printed it's going to look really quite washed out, and you might be better brightening the yellow a bit, but that's just my personal opinion really. What can we say about this one? There's not much different between this and the previous one in terms of like market and what you're going for. So if you could find a way similar to what we were looking at with the cat one and the zombie one to kind of include some text or something that might make it more appealing as a t-shirt, because really when you're doing this kind of thing, when you're doing kind of a generic jack-o'-lantern t-shirt, I guess what you're looking for is the people who are going, I want a Halloween t-shirt. I just want a graphic that looks nice, that's Halloweeny. And so they're not looking for you've used funny in the brand here. Again, I don't see this as a funny design as such. To me, a funny Halloween shirt, and if we do a quick search on Amazon for that, would be funny Halloween shirt. So this is a perfect example. I'm just here for the booze t-shirt. That to me is a funny Halloween t-shirt. Or stop staring at my pumpkins. Nothing scares me. I'm a teacher. Just here for the booze. Basic witch. So you see the thing there, and obviously, like, I just searched for funny Halloween shirt. Amazon presented me with these shirts. So this is obviously what's selling, and this is what Amazon thinks is going to sell when I search for funny Halloween shirt. Now, can we see on this page anything that is just a graphic without any text? No, that one is. But that's quite a specific kind of design. No, that's got some text on it. There's a dabbing pumpkin, but that's all. Dabbing skeleton. A maternity pumpkin shirt. Pumpkin poop. Skeleton. Pumpkin pie. So I think it's fair to say, in my analysis, that when we search for funny Halloween shirt, there are no generic pumpkin shirts or shirts without text that are not including some visual gag within it. For example, the dabbing or something like that. So for that reason, that would make me think that you need to do something like that if you're going to crack that funny Halloween market. And that's going to mean some text, some funny text, some kind of phrase, something that sets this apart, because the market is obviously looking for a funny phrase. When they type in funny Halloween shirt, they're not looking for just a picture of a pumpkin. They're looking for a picture of a pumpkin that says, "Stop looking at my pumpkins," or a ghost that says, "I'm just here for the booze." They're looking for a pun-based joke t-shirt, and that's the kind of thing you would need to be tapping into as well. Zombie Hunter here. Now, I did spot here you've got a couple of issues. You've spelt two wrong. You've got two TO, it should be TOO. Too many zombies, not enough bullets. Zombie Hunter t-shirt Halloween. I think, I mean, this is better in the sense that we are niching down a bit. We've gone from zombie to zombie hunter. And if we have a quick look, let's have a look on Amazon, see what the kind of competition's like for zombie hunter shirt. So Yeah, this kind of thing is what I was expecting for Zombie Hunter, which would be kind of like a badge or some kind of indication that I'm a, I hunt zombies, something like that. Um, Again, it's there. I'm just looking at the kind of BSRs here, so I think that if I'm not mistaken, I'm hoping, Fritz, that this design here, which seems to be one of the lowest BSRs for this vertical, if you like, it does seem to be. This design, I hope that's your design. You've sent me this one here. It's a different price point, so I'm hoping that this is your design. You've just listed it as a separate. Oh no, it's the same price, $12.35. Is that the same? Oh great. Okay, so this one is sold. Yes, it has sold. Okay, so this is the one that's sold for you. So great. I'll leave that one off my review section because that one's sold, and I would just say that for this design, for this zombie one that I don't think has sold, no, it hasn't. Yeah, it's a bit. It's good in the sense that, like with our other ones, it's not just a graphic. You've got some text. You've got a kind of funny phrase there. I think the obviously you need to fix the spelling error and relist the design, but I would look for a way perhaps to make the design more like this kind of thing with a kind of badge or a kind of logo. You see the kind of thing that keeps popping up, the kind of zombie hunter. It's identifying the wearer as a zombie hunter. And this design is not doing that necessarily, but it easily could be. All you need to do is kind of you could go with something like zombie hunter. For example, take something like this design, create something similar to this, use the phrase zombie hunter, and then around the badge, use this phrase that you've got too many zombies, not enough bullets, in the way that a logo or a company might have a tagline on there. Someone's just said in the comments that the red and the green perhaps are not especially Halloween-y. Perhaps. I think it's I think there's not too much wrong with the design itself. I think it's more the kind of targeting and getting that niche market a bit better, because I think this kind of thing here, the thing that says I'm a zombie hunter, that's probably more what people are looking for. And don't get me wrong, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's going to sell in a couple of days or something. But personally, I would try and look to find a way to work your concept into the kind of format that seems to be selling well, in that vertical. And is this your last one? No, it's two more. Okay, so Scary Clown, Colourful Halloween Shirt. This one I'm struggling with again. I think there's some problems with the design. I think, first of all, it looks quite washed out. Maybe that's what you were going for, but I'm not really clear on, again, the market and kind of who's going to be looking for this design. It's not badly designed as such. I'm just not really kind of getting it, I guess. I think in terms of like you've said Scary Clown. It doesn't really look like a clown to me. It looks like a skull with a wig and a bow tie on. And that's not... If I was looking for clown and Scary Clown shirt, let's have a look what we find when we do that. Scary Clown shirt. We're going to find... things that look a lot more like a clown. Obviously, it is popping up. Just things that seem a bit more clowny. And yours to me looks somewhere between like a pirate and something. So that's kind of my critique on the artwork. And again, hand in hand with that, I'm not clear on the kind of niche market that you're going for. I guess I'm thinking like, if someone's going to a Halloween party and they're looking for a shirt to wear, are they going to choose this one? I think it's lacking in what it needs. It needs some more clarity around the kind of design and around what you're going for. So I'll skip that one for now. And finally, the dabbing zombie. So I don't know whether this is a high competition. I imagine it is, because dabbing anything seems to be a big deal. So there's a fair few, and some people are doing this unsponsored. There's a fair few dabbing zombies coming up here, and can't see yours amongst them. So that, again, like I mentioned previously, I think I would have a concern around going into a very busy market without any kind of something that sets me apart. Your design, I don't think it's good enough compared to some of these ones. These to me look more detailed, look more professional. Your design looks a little amateurish. Doesn't look. We've got this issue with the grade, the kind of, what's the word? Outer glow around the artwork, which I think makes it look well. It's not going to print very well, for one thing. So that's the thing that concerns me. So yeah, there's issues with the artwork. Dabbing zombie Halloween shirt, probably about right if that's the market you're going after. Halloween tees, funny dabbing zombie Halloween dab t-shirt, Halloween tees. So yeah, you're not missing much that other people aren't including there. But I think it's the design probably that's letting you down. Placement of design as well looks a little bit high on the shirt, and you should probably increase the size of the artwork. But I think I would go back and rework this design, because I think your design needs work. And I would also just ask yourself, do I want to be in this space? There's 950 results for dabbing zombie. If we look just for prime results and we narrow it down further by saying just t-shirt or just shirt, then there's 904 results. So that's a fairly saturated market, I would say. And if you're not going to put some money behind sponsored listings, because the top 3 results here are all sponsored, I would say maybe you'd be better off finding a lower competition market that you can serve there. Okay, that I think brings us to the end of the review for Fritz's shirts. Fritz, I hope that has been helpful for you. I hope you guys watching got something out of that as well. I think what I'm going to have to do now, because that took way longer than I expected, is I've got about 15 minutes left, and I'm going to have to finish at 5. So let me take questions from guys and just fire away with your questions. We've got 15 minutes, and sorry to Sean, I think I won't get to your shirts today, but maybe we'll do that next week. So yeah, guys, fire away with your questions, and I will try and answer them in the next 15 minutes. I'm just having a quick scan through what people pointed out and asked. Okay, Jason had a quick one. Can you describe what gradient is versus halftones? I think maybe the quickest way to do that is to link you to a page that has a video on halftones. Photoshop halftones. If you take a look at this in your own time, this will give you an overview of how to do halftones. Basically, what halftones are is it's using dots. So if we wanted to do a gradient from white to red, so for example, the background of the shirt was red, like as you can see on my screen, and you wanted to do, you've got white artwork on top, and then you want to fade it to kind of the red and give that effect. So I'm doing a really crappy job, but I think you get the idea here. So a gradient would be, you would use Photoshop and you would use like a shape or something, and you would apply a gradient to the artwork. Halftones would be is simply a way of achieving the same effect, but without using the gradient tool. And the way you achieve that effect is you use something like small dots to bigger dots. And obviously you can create this in Photoshop. You don't have to draw this out or anything. You do this at a small enough scale to start with, and this effect, as your dots get bigger and closer together, you produce what's known as a halftone effect. And halftone effects can be applied to like any artwork, but that is the way that I would recommend that you approach fading of a t-shirt, of some artwork onto a background, because what that is going to do is it means that the printer isn't printing a gradient, the printer is printing one solid color, and it gives a much more professional looking effect on the shirt. I wonder if I'll try and find an example maybe for next week if you ask again, but gradients don't translate well in print, because especially if you're trying to do a gradient from some artwork to the back of the shirt, if that makes sense, because what a gradient is a if we do it with a square here, and I try and apply a gradient overlay. So what's happening here, we've got a gradient here that's a green to red gradient, as you can see, very simple. What you would be doing, what we're talking about, is that this side, so the red, is actually going to be, so the red is actually going to be, there we go. The red is going to be invisible, and what's happening is the green is slowly fading into the red. And when the printer tries to print this, they're trying to print like, they're printing green, and then they're printing kind of greeny red, and then they're printing kind of reddy green. And that's not what you want. You want them to just be printing green the whole time, if that makes sense. You want them to print green onto a red shirt all the way down. You don't want the printer to be printing any kind of red with the green kind of around this area. Because what that's going to be happening is you're printing red onto a red t-shirt, and it's never going to look exactly the same as the background. So you're going to have this weird kind of modeled, weird-looking area on this section of the gradient where it kind of meets. Whereas if this was green and all the printer was doing was printing green, and you had kind of a halftone effect all the way down, you'd be getting a much better kind of clean-looking print. So I'm probably doing a terrible job of explaining that, but I hope that makes sense. Okay, let me take some more questions here before I gotta go. I'll do a refresh. Okay, Jason asks, is it too late to be uploading Halloween t-shirts? No, I don't think so, and I hope not, because I'm still uploading quite a few. I think that there's still plenty of time. My only concern is it's probably too late to be entering very busy Halloween generic markets if you're not going to put some advertising in. So yes, I think there's still opportunities to be found around Halloween. You are going to have to niche down, and probably niche down a couple of steps. So you're going to want to go for Halloween teacher t-shirts or Halloween, baker, candlestick maker t-shirts, really kind of specific niches. And you're going to have to obviously do some research into those to try and find the best approach. But yeah, I think there's definitely still some opportunities there. I don't think it's too late. I just think for the busy areas, it probably is too late. But if you've got some advertising spend, then you can still make hay there. So it kind of depends. Any alternative to Printful and Custom Cat for Shopify? Plenty of alternatives, Alex. Printify is one I've used recently. They were quite good. Printora, I believe, have a Shopify app. T-Launch, Viral Style. There's a plenty. If you go on the Shopify App Store thing and you search for print on demand, then you'll find like page after page of very similar apps all doing the same thing. Jacob asks, I'm going to go real quick fire now through these, so sorry guys if I don't have too much time on my hands. Do you do Etsy, Printful, and if so, is it common for people to favorite your shirt and not buy it? Yes, very, very, yes to both. I do Etsy Printful. It's working great. Etsy has been great for me the past month. Is it common for people to favorite and not buy? Yes, it is. They might be saving that product for a later date when they're going to come back and buy it, hopefully. Or they might just be wanting to save it for the time being and or just favoriting it. So yeah, it certainly is usual. Jason just asked, is there a way to make halftones without drawing tons of tiny circles? Yes, there is. Probably my favorite way is simply to find like a graphic. You can download just either a vector graphic or a Photoshop file or a brush or a something like that, vector shape of a halftone effect, and simply apply that to your artwork and use that to do that. Ree asks, what BSR tool am I using? I believe it's called DS Amazon Quick View, is it called? That's Unicorn Smash. DS Amazon Quick View is the name of the BSR tool, Ree. Hope that helps you. Eileen asks, what sort of advertising? Well, what I had in mind then was if you're going to enter Halloween and you want to, make some hay, advertising, you would be looking at Amazon AMS ads and using their marketing system. Now, I'm not doing that myself yet, but I know that people are and are having success with that. And that would be what I would be looking to teach myself. If you have time and you're interested and you have some cash that you can invest into advertising, I would look at that. That's within the Amazon ecosystem that I'm talking about. Now, of course, you can do advertising outside and you can drive traffic to a Shopify store, which would be my recommendation if you are looking at creating your own kind of brand and that kind of thing. But within Amazon, I would look at AMS, and I think you'll be able to find just a few YouTube searches will show up some way to get started. I think Merch Informer did a blog post on getting started with AMS ads, which was very helpful. Jason's just asked, what's a good strategy for running ads? Again, if you look on the Merch Informer blog and you do a search for, let me do it for you now, Merch Informer, and we do a search for AMS, which is Amazon Marketing Services, I believe. Got to go to the blog first. AMS. I believe this one here. Oops. I'll just post a link to that there. I believe that will give you a good introduction. Now, I haven't, like I say, started using stuff myself, but I am looking to learn that soon and get on top of that. Kathleen asks, Redbubble question, how many keywords should I use for design? Someone told me I should only use a few. Others said I should use as much as I can. Obviously, there's going to be diminishing returns, Kathleen, so I think 10 is a good starting point and a rough guide. I wouldn't waste your time going too far beyond that. I mean, if you can't describe every element in your design and every conceivable, reasonable, relevant keyword within 10 or 20 tags, then something's wrong. Like, every design should be clear enough in your head that you can get it down to 10 or 20 tags and keywords, and if you can't, something's gone wrong. So I would kind of keep 10 to 20 as a rough guide anyway. Dixon says you're not using Custom Cat. I am using Custom Cat, Dixon. Yep, still using Custom Cat. Not for Etsy. I'm using Printful for Etsy. Using Custom Cat for my Shopify store. Sue says, can you talk about advertising next time, please? Not really, because I'm not doing much advertising myself, but I will be covering advertising in my master plan course, which I'll talk about soon. Manny says, do you still use ShipStation for your Etsy with Printful? I do, yes, Manny. Let me just copy that one. Do you still use ShipStation for your Etsy with Printful integration? I do. The reason I'm doing that is simply because I had a couple of bugs in the first instance with Printful's direct Etsy integration app. It didn't seem to work perfectly for me, so I used ShipStation instead. It's only like $20 a month or something, so it's worth. It's not worth. It is worth it. It's not a significant cost. So, and it just works, fine. I should probably go back and try again with the Printful integration directly. It probably works fine. If it's working fine for you, then continue. It's just that when I was setting things up, I had one store that was going through ShipStation and every order was working fine. I had another one with just directly with the Printful integration. It didn't work fine. So yeah, that's why I'm using that. And do I use SEO tools like Marmalead for Etsy? No. Right now I'm just whacking my designs up on Etsy. Jason asks, have I seen success with Facebook ads to Amazon? No, I would never drive Facebook ads directly to Amazon unless I had a really good reason to, but I think that's a real waste because you're not getting any of the pixel information and all that kind of stuff. So I would always drive that traffic to Shopify. And yeah, I wouldn't drive Facebook ads straight to Amazon. Personally, I'm not really a pro with Facebook ads. I've used them from time to time, but I've not really managed to kind of crack a system yet. But that's on my to-do list. Douglas says that he went through the Merch Informer guide yesterday and was able to set it up Amazon AMS, which is great. Be interested to hear, Douglas, how that's going for you. Mavis says, maybe in a couple of weeks, Douglas, once you've got the hang of it. Mavis says, what is some of your general tips for detailed keyword research? Detailed keyword research? I don't know if I have any tips for detailed keyword research. I don't go that detailed in my research. I would like to talk about research rather than just keyword research. Like, I would be thinking in terms of what market am I serving, what customer am I serving, and how can I get a design that's perfect for them, and how can I use the relevant, appropriate terms to do that. And you don't need to do much more than look at what's ranking and what's selling and apply those similar keywords and key terms and use your brain to kind of think if there's some obvious, low-hanging fruit there. And I don't do much more than that, really. So I think there's a bit of a disconnect there. You're talking about keyword research. I'm talking about research. And I would not want to produce designs and then try and find the right keywords. I would want to make that process all one and the same so that I produce designs for concepts, for markets that I know or I have some knowledge about, so I know the keywords I'm going to use to get things working. So I hope that makes sense, Mavis. Dixon, I think you're asking why am I not using CustomCat for Etsy? It's because CustomCat doesn't have an Etsy integration, as far as I know, yet. I have been away on holiday for 2 weeks, but I don't think that's changed yet. If CustomCat had a Etsy integration app, I would probably be using CustomCat just because of the slightly cheaper price point. Anthony says, what price point does Etsy become worthwhile? I've been looking at print fulfillment and Etsy fees, and it seems like margins are slim. Personally, actually, Anthony, my margins are great on Etsy because I'm charging like $25 for a shirt, and I think Printful is charging me $17 or something like that. So by the time you add on the shipping and stuff, it comes out roughly, I think I'm making 40% to 50% margin on my Etsy sales. So obviously that's quite worthwhile, and I don't know what kind of price points you're looking at, but you might want to up your prices on Etsy or find a cheaper fulfillment. But either way, that's kind of what I'm working at, and that's why it works for me. Douglas says, if you're outside the US, you will have to call the IRS, and they give you an EIN number on the phone. Make sure that you fill the forms required before calling them. That's great. Thank you, Douglas. I have not done that yet, so I will take a look at it. Anthony says, so 25 isn't too high a price point? Not for me on Etsy. 25 is fine. In fact, I think I'm charging more than 25. I think I might be at 26 or 27 for a t-shirt. So Obviously, it does depend on the market you're going after, the quality of your designs, the quality of your mock-up image, and that kind of thing. But personally, I am able to sustain $25, $26, $27 for a t-shirt on Etsy, which obviously gives you nice margins if you can do that. Okay, I think we're going to have to wrap this one up there. So thank you guys for your questions today. It's 2 minutes past 5. We've gone an hour. And thank you for your questions and for joining me. I hope that the feedback stuff was useful. If it was, please leave a comment so I know to do that again. And next week, we will find a way in a system to do like feedback for people who are willing and open to do that. Let me just say while I'm on that, the next week, I'm probably going to, if you're not signed up, if you're in this group and you're not signed up for the master plan, which is going to start in a couple of weeks' time, then I'm going to hit you with an opportunity to get in next week before the price goes up. I'm going to make sure that you get repeated exposure to that offer before the deadline, which is going to be in a couple of weeks' time. So you will get hit with a lot of emails and stuff because I want you guys to get in before the price goes up if you're not in the master plan group already. Now, I'm not going to go into stuff about the master plan right now because I'm going to do that next week or perhaps the week after. But if you're not in there, I really think, if you liked the feedback session today, just imagine that times 10 and kind of a plan to walk you through what you should be doing, when you should be doing it. That's what the master plan course is going to be about. So let me just leave a very quick link, just so if this is like the first time that you're hearing about the master plan course and you're like, what's going on? Let me just give you a quick link to that, because I want to make sure everyone does have an opportunity to get in on that. So the link is there. So if you're not in already, don't hang around. Don't miss this opportunity to get in at a very low price. And I'll have more information on that next week. So thank you guys for watching today, and I will talk to you all same time next week, I think. No. I'm not here next week. I'm away next week, so we won't be doing one of these next week. In fact, what I might do is, if I can wrangle it, we might just move it from Wednesday to Friday, and I'll see if I can do that instead. But next Wednesday, we won't have one of these, but I'll keep you updated some other way. So thank you, guys. I think that's everything I wanted to say, and I'll talk to you all soon. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching. Thank you, guys.